This is TWiT.
I do think that what OpenAI announces tomorrow will have something to do with the fact that, according to Bloomberg, Apple has now closed in on the deal with OpenAI to put ChatGPT on an iPhone. Yes, they're talking to Google as well, and you saw I just used Gemini on Gemini. I just used, Mike will know why I call it Gemini. Gemini was what we used to call the NASA program right after Mercury. There was Mercury, then Gemini, and then Apollo. But I guess it's Gemini. I guess. So if Apple puts, I'm thinking. Plus, by the way, okay. The OpenAI thing is tomorrow. The Google thing is the day after Google I/O, where Google is clearly going to announce a bunch of AI stuff, maybe even a deal with Apple. I have to think OpenAI, they had put this announcement off. I think that there's a reason it's right the day before Google I/O. And then in a few weeks, we're going to hear Apple talk about AI everywhere. They used the word AI in their iPad announcement this week. Almost as much as they used 5G a couple of years ago. It really peppered throughout. Apple clearly is feeling the sting of being a little bit behind Microsoft and Google on AI.
I don't think Apple's going to let anybody announce anything that Apple's doing until Apple is ready to announce it themselves.
Good point. So OpenAI is unlikely to say Siri, use the S word. But I wouldn't be surprised that that's what they're going to. I will suspect they'll talk about is a chatbot, that you could put on your phone that could maybe make Google better and Siri better and Amazon Echo better. I don't know. I think that's what we'll see. Something's going to happen, and the fact that Apple's getting close to a deal with OpenAI makes me think this is something along those lines. You don't? Do you? Yeah, I think that's nuts.
I think there's a whole. I think what they may announce is some kind of tool that will help users use ChatGPT or all of their offerings in a more constructive or creative way. It may have a lot to do with the input side, where you can have where companies, authors and so on have more control over whether their content goes into the Borg collective. Back to Perplexity AI, they have a tool that's in beta test right now, where they are basically turning it into a content creation tool. You basically get a thing that's like a word processor, and you ask, you do a prompt to build an article. The AI takes a stab at it. You edit it so that they encourage human editing of this article, and then you can add photos or create photos or pictures or images with AI, and then you publish it on their site. And so it seems to me like it's a cross between the Wikipedia and ChatGPT and TikTok and something. It might even be a social type thing. So those kinds of tools, I think, are something that OpenAI probably wants to get into, because everybody's using ChatGPT, but
it's a little bit of a toy.
A lot further.
Yeah,
they could go a lot further. I also, the dark horse prediction, something I've been calling for them to do is they should come out with their own glasses. Like all of these LLM chatbot companies should have their own Ray-Ban Meta glasses type glasses.
Do you think that's risky, though? I worry that these companies think that that's risky, given the way that Google Glass has gone, and the way that the response we've seen to things like the Humane Pen. It seems like the bar to make a successful wearable device is much higher than simply figuring out the software aspect.
Google Glass didn't have AI, and the Rabbit R1 or whatever it is, and the Humane Pen. The problem with them was that they weren't glasses. Glasses are something that are already socially acceptable to wear. That's as close as you can get to the sense organs of a human being. Right next to the ears, right close enough to the mouth where you can interact with it, right over the eyes where you can get visual information. And there's a whole industry in Silicon Valley that we haven't really seen emerge, where they're building, they want to take on Luxottica.
Who, by the way, makes those Ray-Bans. When I got my Ray-Bans, the box said
exactly.
Luxottica on it, and I forgot that they own.
Of course,
they own every brand.
They own
all the
most
brands.
glasses
Right,
companies.
exactly. But there are companies in Silicon Valley that are working on
Warby Parker,
the technology, also the designs.
Yeah.
They have like 30 designs, and
I'm waiting for
exist
my
to
Brilliant
basic-
Labs glasses to come. I ordered the Brilliant Labs glasses.
Well,
I was
those
gonna
are
say, Leo.
you're going to look like Dexter from Dexter's
I don't care if they work. If they do, they are augmented reality. If
They
they
look
work,
cool.
well,
I gotta.
you're the type that would like Dexter.
Yeah, that's true.
I ordered them.
yeah,
I don't know. They were supposed to come out last month. Obviously, these kinds of things take longer. I just think it's going to be interesting to see what Heads Up can add to this. But here's Apple's problem. They released Vision Pro. They put out kind of the wrong product. Or do you think that that's a stepping stone to glasses?
That's a very different product. I mean, I think that that's a high resolution.
I agree.
Sort of, and then I think there'll be a real use case for that in the future. But that will be that'll be the desktop Mac product. The future iPhone is going to be a lot more like Ray-Ban Meta glasses. That with visuals, and of course Google itself is going to be almost certainly announcing their consumer AI glasses at Google I/O.
Oh, you think they will? Good.
I think they will. Yeah, I think they will. But I think if Ray-Ban Meta has proved anything, it's that this is a super viable category. There's another company who makes glasses that are $160, and they have like 300 different frames that are name brand frames. They use ChatGPT, and they somehow do it through Siri on the iPhone. And when you ask them a question, they're almost answering it before you finish the question. They are so fast that it's like really mind blowing.
That is a little bit of an issue with the Meta, as you saw, Paris. It's sometimes I'd ask a question, and then I'm just sitting there glazed for 20 seconds waiting for an answer, and it makes me look like an idiot, frankly, because my eyes start focusing in the distance, and I just sit there waiting. I think that's one problem that we're going to have to solve, but we'll get faster with these. Here's the story from the New York Times. They have their own sources at Apple. Apple, they say, will revamp Siri to catch up to its chatbot competitors. Apple plans to announce that it'll bring generative AI to iPhones. This won't be till WWDC in June. Story from Trip Mickle, Brian X. Chen, and Cade Metz, all three who've been reporting on Apple for as long as I can remember. So clearly Siri has a problem, and that's what they're saying. They're saying Apple executives were... Apple fears if it fails to develop its own AI system, the iPhone could become a dumb brick compared with other technology. And I think they realized last year in some testing that Siri was a dope and that they needed to do something better.
They just figured that out?
What's it? Yeah, they have the scenario. Apple's top software executives decided early last year that Siri needed a brain transplant. The decision came after the executives, Craig Federighi and John Giandrea, spent weeks testing OpenAI's new chatbot. It made Siri look antiquated, said two people familiar with the company's work who didn't have permission to speak publicly, but did anyway. So it's been a year. It often misunderstood questions. ChatGPT, on the other hand, knew that if someone asked for weather in San Francisco and then said, "What about New York?" they were looking for a forecast for New York. Siri could not do that. So anyway, June 10th, we'll find out what Apple's up to. Monday, tomorrow, May 12th, 13th, we'll find out what OpenAI's up to. And May 14th, we'll find out what Google's up to. So it's going to be a week. It's going to be a very big couple of weeks, to find out what's happening. Hey, thank you for watching this little snippet from our big show, the News Roundtable, This Week in Tech. I'm Leo Laporte. Each week we cover the week's tech news, in-depth analysis, but it's also fun and engaging. You'll find it at twit.tv along with all of our shows. And if you want more, just hit the subscribe button, and we'll be sure to bring you a lot more great content. Thanks for listening.